Good morning to one and all. In the previous class, we discussed about these stone columns. Normally, what is the purpose of stone column? In which conditions we need to construct these stone columns to mitigate problems associated with the different kinds of lands. First of all, we need to note what is a stone column, how it was located in a particular site itself, what are the forces acting on that particular stone column, if there is any load increment in the particular condition, what is the deflection it will absorb. These three are the diagrams which will be shown that the arrangement of stones on a particular field itself. After that, the load is applied on a particular stone column with the help of these arrows itself. And what after the load, normally columns has to fail mainly due to this buckling. Okay, this buckling property, so that the stone column is bearing a particular amount of load, so that how it buckles at a particular depth, what is the maximum depth of buckling, what is the starting point of buckling, also mentioned here. It is the 20 and 20, it is a 2D or 4D, that means 2 times the diameter of the particular hole and 4 times the diameter of the particular hole. We need to multiply what is the diameter of the particular stone column, so that at 2 times the diameter we need to have this maximum buckling, and 4 times the diameter it is the starting point of the buckling when we apply a excessive load on these particular stone columns. In the second diagram itself, we are having a short column. That means short column means normally there is a L by D ratio is less than 12. That is called as a short column as per our RCC designs. If the L by D ratio is greater than 12, it is a long column. First one is a long column, so that long columns are mainly fails due to this buckling phenomena. Short columns are fails due to these crushing loads. Long column fails due to buckling loads. Those two things are very important while we designing a particular column. So that in the short column itself, we are having the load distribution will be shown in the particular diagram from the earth level itself, so that the marked portions are earth level. The above the earth level we are having this application of load, and the distribution of the load is also like a trapezoidal pattern. We are having the distribution of the load. Okay, in the third diagram itself, we are having this how the load is applied on a particular column, and automatically we need to have some amount of earth forces which has to equate the load of the two forces are equal, that maybe the structure will be free from the cracks. If the two forces are unequal, that there may be definitely chance of a failure or any other settlements. Once I will show with this. This is the force acting on the particular column itself, so that there will be a anti-force which has to develop in the particular ground surface. It is the particular ground level, it is below and above. From the above ground level, we are having a particular quantity of the load is applied on a soil, that means the soil with this stone column, so that the stone column has to prepare a particular amount of force which is against this applied load. Automatically then will be the column will serve, otherwise the column has to fail in first diagram like. Okay, this is the failure mechanism of a single stone column in a homogeneous soft layer. It is a single stone column. Normally, to mitigate these kind of accidents, we have to prefer a multi-level stone columns at a particular foundation itself, so that there may be no chance to buckle or any other crushings. This is the how the load will be applied in a single stone columns. Previously, the soil is homogeneous soft layer, but in case of the second diagram, it is a non-homogeneous. That means up to some level we are having one kind of soil strata, after that we are having another kind of soil strata. If the layers are automatically differ, means automatically forces also differs from layer to layer, so that there may be uneven distribution of the load and stress distributions, so that definitely we need to go for a different kinds of patterns to bear those loads. In the first diagram itself, we are having this very clay or very soft clay or silty clay eroded from particular depth. After that, we are having soft clay or silt. Very soft clay and soft clay, those two having some amount of minute changes in the particle sizes, so that there are difference between those two clays. After that, second diagram we are having soft clay or silt and limited localized bulging, very soft clay and organics. That means here we are having three different kinds of soil. First layer is completely a soft clay associated with silt amount of particular quantity, and in the second layer we are having a very soft clay and some quantity of organic matter. That means a carbon and hydrogen associated matter is having in the second layer. After that, we are having a localized bulging matter. So there may be a difference of three kinds of soils in associated with a particular single column. In the third level itself, we are having soft soil. After that, very soft soil with organics is a huge quantity, so that soft quantity and those two are equalized, so that how the buckling process will be takes place. In the first layer itself, we are having surface building or shear failure occurs. That means in the soft layer at a surface it will be occurrence of a shear failure. But in case of second quantity, we are having three different soils. There may be thin very soft layer, a continuous local bulging. That means bulging means normally some kind of expansion. Bulging properties means expansion means if any material is immersed in a particular soil water, automatically the top layer will be expanding. Likely our whenever our finger is particularly immersed in a certain quantity of water per a particular span of time, automatically the top layer will be changing into a white color due to the immersion of water, and automatically the top layer of our finger will be absorbed by some quantity of water, so that there may be some amount of bulging properties. Those kind of phenomena is called as a bulging. Likely in the third case also we are having a thick soft layer locally bulging principle also appear. These are the three failure mechanisms of these stone columns whenever there is a application of load in different patterns. After that, how we need to apply a load on the stone columns. First one is the different types of loadings applied on a particular stone columns. 1C we are having. In the case of shown figures, where the load area is more than the stone column, experiences less bulging, leading to ultimate load bearing capacity and reduces the settlements, since the load is carried by the both ends of the soil itself. That means if there is a huge amount of load, in those particular huge amount of load, some quantity of load is transferring into the particular stone column and the remaining is transferring into the surrounding field, so that there may be less quantity of buckling. In this diagram itself, we are having a less quantity of buckling in the first case, but in case of second case, we are having a huge quantity of buckling due to the total load is applied on a particular stone column itself, so that there may be a huge amount of buckling in the first compared to first case. This is the phenomena how we need to apply a load and how we need to design. If there is a huge quantity of area in those particular area, the stone column we have to built in a small pattern, so that there may be a less quantity of buckling. If we construct the total area, the stone column also has to bear a huge amount of deflection. Why? Because in the stone column there is no binding particle, simply we are pouring a huge quantity of stony material, and after that we are vibrating it to a particular period to bond them. Because to reduce the voids and other small quantity of bonding, we need to do some kind of vibrations, so that there may be a chance to buckle due to the application of load. Why? Because there is no steel or any other binding material to carry the stresses to one to another. That means if there is any steel or any binding material, automatically there will be a chance to transfer the stresses from one to another. That means steel has a tendency to transfer his stresses to surrounding particles like cement and silica and other aggregates. But in case of here column, we are having only aggregates, so that the total load will not be borne by this aggregate. Automatically there may be a chance of buckling phenomena. And load tests, what we have to do on these columns. First of all, from the load test we can determine the ultimate load bearing capacity of the particular settlement in a single column with a responsible accuracy. What is accuracy means? Exact value of the load particular column will have to bear in the particular soil conditions. Those are the accuracy in the particular limits. And next one is the good experience with the foundations on similar structures. What are the similar structures? Those structures will have to bear a equal amount of weights onto the particular columns or any other structural members. Those are called as similar structures. In those particular similar structures, all columns has to bear equal amount of load. That means for a structure we are having a 4 to 6 columns, so that the total load will be transferred onto the particular columns with a equal distribution. If there is a some certainty in the particular pattern, if it is a circular pattern or if it is a trapezoidal pattern, normally square pattern or rectangular pattern, it is not suitable for equal distribution. Why? Because of there may be asymmetrical distance between those distances. If there is a circular or square pattern, there may be a chance of equal distribution of the loads to the all members. That is called as the phenomena of this accuracy. Next one we are having is the good experience with foundations on similar structures, and calculations on the basis of principle of soil mechanics shall be made before the final design. That means we need to use some kind of the soil mechanical principles to find out the soil bearing capacity and plasticity index, liquid limits and other binding properties, water entrainment levels. We need to have all amount of these experiences while we are designing these stone columns with respect to these conditions of loadings. What is the factor of safety while we design a structure? That means a minimum factor of safety against ultimate load capacity and the column load obtained from the particular column is called as the minimum factor of safety. We are having two different things, factor of safety and next one working factor. All those things we need to have. First one we need to calculate here factor of safety by the applied rules whatever they are in the this geotechnical subject. Next one is the installation technique, how we need to install a particular stone column in different soils. First of all, the construction of stone column involves a creation of hole into the ground itself. That means whatever the ground we have, we need to choose a particular point so that the total load is associated in which place, so that in that particular place we need to mark and we need to use some amount of digging operators, so that we need to dig the material up to our required purpose. Later it is filled with a granular fill. That means granular means normally a stony like materials are materials having huge quantity of size with respect to their particles. Next one, stone sand mixture and all compacted to required strength. In some cases we have to use this stone sand mixture. Normally we are using only stone to fill these particular stone columns, but in some rare conditions they are using these stone and sand mixtures to fill these stone columns. Next one, we have to use this granular blanket. Normally blanket is a used purpose to protect our body from the external environment. These blankets are used by the persons. But in case of the stone column, what is the purpose of using this granular blanket? Onto the top of the stone column, a clean medium to coarse sand with 70 to 80% relative density is laid down with a minimum thickness of 0.5 meters. That means nearly 1.5 feet. A granular blanket That means granular blanket means under the top surface of the stone column we have to use a clean medium of coarse sand. That means the sand particles having a huge amount. That means more than normal they have. That means sand, normally sand means below the particle size is 4.75. We are consider the particular matter as a sandy like matter. Above 4.75 we are called it as a aggregate of coarser particles. We need to use 70 to 80% of relative density of ladies with a minimum thickness of 0.5 meters. That means 1.5 to 2 feet. We need to maintain this granular blanket with a coarser particle sizes. Next thing is the layer should be exposed at its periphery to the atmosphere for easy dissipation of pore water pressure. That means pore water pressure. Whatever the water is lies on a particular ground itself, those will be associated with the particular soil to remove or expels from the particular holes, so that the layer should be exposed at its periphery to the atmosphere. Periphery means నార్మల్లీ మనం తెలుగులో చుట్టుకొలత అంటాం. ఆ లేయర్ యొక్క మన సరౌండింగ్ కండిషన్స్ మొత్తం కూడా మనం ఈ యొక్క స్టోన్ కాలంలో సరౌండింగ్ కండిషన్స్లో మొత్తం మనం ఏం చేయాలంటే ఈ యొక్క సమ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ పెరిఫరీతో మనం ఈ యొక్క స్టాండ్ అనేది మొత్తం కూడా ఫిల్ చేస్తూ రావాలి. Why? Because of there may be huge amount of contact between the surrounding soil particles to this stone column, so that there may be huge amount of dissipation of the force like this. In this column there may be a huge amount of force dissipation to the surrounding soil in the first diagram itself, but in case of second diagram there may be less chance of force dissipation. This is the installation technique of this stone column and materials, how we need to associate with the ground level and top of the ground level and the below ground levels. This is the tests we need to conduct on particular columns. Normally we need to associate the stone columns in a different patterns to reduce the stresses on a singular one. That means if there is any singular column means automatically the total force will be onto the particular single column, so that we need to have this multi number of columns in a particular side itself, so that the force will be dispersed into different columns with less quantity, so that there may be a huge amount of bearing capacity. Normally here we are having a totally 7 columns. Those 7 columns, 6 columns are associated with only singular column having huge amount of distance. The center one, normally the distance is 1.85 meters from center to center. Okay, for each and every column we are having 1.85 meters center to center distance. From the round center column we are having 1.85 meters to the end one. All those things we need to maintain in a particular scales itself, otherwise there may be some eccentrical patterns. Due to the eccentrical patterns there may be huge amount of dissipation of the force from a particular one column only. Load test on singular columns we need to do. This is the another kind of arrangement of these stone columns. In this one also we are having same distance of 1.85 meter from column to column, and then the medium span also we are having array like it is a trapezoidal, not trapezoidal, it is like a triangular array. In the triangular array itself they are having only 5 columns on each side. That means totally we are having 5 plus 4 plus 3 12 plus 3 13. That means we are having 15 number of columns. They are ascending from one end to one end. The minimum diameter of the stone column here we are having is 900 mm, means that means 9 centimeters. We are having only 9 centimeters, means nearly a 3 inch. On 3 inches, 4 inches we are having. In diameter 3.36 PCC footing load area likely we are having. Load test on 3 columns group test. That means the center one we are having 3 columns associated with these 15 piles surrounded. So that on those 3 columns we need to do these tests. Design of stone columns using Heinz-Price methods. First one we are having introduction, design of stone column using this method. After that we need to use this design example, and by using some amount of software, they are allocated this software. What is this thing they are using? Normally previously we discussed about this vibro replacement technique. That means whenever we are having this stone column, we need to do this stone column laying by different layers. In the first layer itself we need to pour some quantity of these stones. After that we need to do these vibrations. After that we need to do some amount of another layer vibration, likely from ground level, the bottom level to the ground level, we need to do different layers with different quantities of vibration, such that there may be a strong bond between this each stone, and the stone has to transfer the stresses to the surrounding soil with a proper manner. Otherwise the total column will buckles. Vibro replacement is a subsoil improvement method at which large sized columns of coarse backfill material are installed in the soil by means of a special depth of vibrations. When we have a one column with a larger depth, so that larger depth column is neglected by constructing a smaller depth columns with a 2 number or 3 number. That means I will show with this diagrammatic representation. We are having a one column from the ground level to bottom level, so that this column length is so high, so that we need to use the total length with 3 or more columns associated with a single one, so that the total load will be distributed to this only. Okay, we need to change some amount of fractions of this lengths. Next one, vibro replacement improves the compressible cohesive soil by the installation of load bearing columns while compacted. Means this vibro replacement improves non-compactable cohesive soil by the installation of these load bearing columns by well compaction. Normally compaction is used to densify the particular soil. Automatically by laying the stone columns we are using this vibro probate techniques. Automatically by the along with this stone also, the surrounding soil up to some content will automatically it also densified, so that the total structure will have a huge amount of safe bearing capacity compared to previous one. That means previously we are having some amount of soil bearing capacity to the soil. Due to this vibratory techniques and the stone column arrangement, we have to increase the soil bearing capacity. Next thing we are having is coarse grained backfill materials is contrary to the vibro compaction is used in the cohesionless soil. That means coarse grained backfill. What is this backfill? In the previously column is we are having like this dimension, so that we have to do this quantity of this coarse fill on the top layer itself, so that there may be entrainment of water from the bottom level to top level easily by the association of these sand particles and stone particles by well mixing. That means the top layer up to 1 or 2 feet we need to use this soil, not soil, sand with stones with a particular content, so that the water with whichever on the particular soil will be drained easily due to these coarser particles and stone particles. Next one, the extent to which the density compressible soil will be improved by vibro compactions. That means by using these vibro compaction techniques, the density also having some amount of improvement. Depends upon the parameters of the soil being difficult to determine, but also procedure adapted to equipment is provided. That means some kinds of soils we are not have to determine the soil bearing capacity in the field itself, so that we need to have these techniques to improve the particular soil bearing capacity without doing any laboratory techniques or appliances using. What is the design principle for the these stone columns by using this Henry Pipes method. Load distribution on the lateral support from the stone columns surrounding stiffened ground and area bases are considered to give the important factor. That means importance factors we need to give for each and every structure. For normally structures we don't give importance factor. For why? Because the quantity of people lying in the normal structure is so less. While we go for this design of these cinema halls, hospitals and other huge amount of crowd lying area, this factor likely we need to give some amount of factors to the structures depending upon their load carrying capacities and surrounding structural profiles. The improvement factors indicates the increase in the compression modulus and the extent of the which the settlement is reduced by the column ground improvement. The compression modulus and extent of to which the settlement is reduced by the column ground improvement. What is column ground improvement means? While we laying the particular column, we need to dig some quantity of matter in the particular soil and we need to replace it with by another quantity of material having huge amount of this soil bearing capacity. Normally by using coarser fine soils, coarser or sands with association with these stones, so that they will improve the ground properties up to some content. The design method refers the ground effects of stone columns in a soil which the otherwise unaltered in comparison to the initial state. The installation of the stone columns densify the soil between different stratas. The following idealized conditions are assumed in the design. That means we need to assume some kind of points. What are those? First one is the column is based on a rigid layer. That means there may be some amount of rigidity such that there will be no deflections or no distributions of load to the below layers. That is called as a rigid layer. Next one, column material is uncompressible. That means the column is uncompressible to the particular load itself. Next thing we have to assume is the bulk density of column and the soil is neglected. That means bulk density. Density means the particular quantity of matter at a particular volume, that is called as a density. So that the bulk density of the particular volume of the soil and column will be neglected. Hence the column cannot be fail in end bearings. That means end bearings means normally the total structure have different columns. Particularly in the end of the particular structure we have to use these end bearings to control these stress distributions to the surrounding soils and other conditions. What are the notations we have to use while we design these particular stone columns by using Terradog-Brobis equations and others? First one, a grid area. What is the grid we are using? Normally this is a square grid. Likely we are having a triangular grid and a trapezoidal grid and a circular grid. Likely we are having different kinds of grids. Those areas we need to have. So A is the grid area. Next, B is the foundation width. That means this is the total foundation. This is the depth and this is the width of the foundation. Those things. Next one is the C is the property cohesion of the soil. Next one, D is the improvement depth. That means the total depth of the particular stone column. Improved depth. Next thing, we are having a depth of ground failure. That means up to what can it be? GR. This is called a GR. Next one, capital D is the constrained modulus. After that we are having a depth factor, coefficient of earth pressure. All those three terms are normally well known terms. N is the improvement factor, and next we are having P equal to normally load, we studied in the RCC and steel structures. S is the settlement value, W is the weight, alpha is the reduction factor, gamma is the unit weight. Normally gamma is the unit weight, studied 7850, 1440 for cement, and 2400 for concrete, 2500 for RCC, 2400 for PCC. Likely we are having different unit weights, and eta is the safety factor, mu is the Poisson ratio 1.2, and sigma bc is the bearing capacity of the soil, friction angle. All those are the notations we are using in the particular calculations. These are the formulas. Normally in this ground improvement techniques we don't have to do all those this, only we need to study, because it is an elective subject, we don't have these designs and others, so that we need to have to some knowledge on this particular, what are the different methods we are using, what are the formulas associated in these particular methods, all those things. These are the graphical representations, and this is the efficiency of the particular columns. After that, this is the notations. Normally these kind of graphs we will observe in RCC, particularly while designing a column SP16 charts. All you are well known about this SP16 charts. By using FCK by BD square values, we have to design particular quantity of area required, amount of steel required, all those things will associate with this particular SP16 charts. Is the considerations. All those are not useful for us. Next one is the shear values associated with normally C and tan phi. Next one is the settlement of improved ground, that is associated with SW, which is equal to SW equal to P into D by D into NS. These are the diagrams. Next one is the bearing capacity, is noted with sigma CBC. Normally here we are having sigma DF. This is the design example to, that means what are the values associated with the particular design phenomena. First one, design a stone column for a embankment with a following properties. What are the properties we need to have to design a particular stone column? First of all, the width of the embankment up to 5 meter is given as 5 meters with 1:1 slope, means slope is equal on both sides, and at surcharge of the embankment, that means surcharge on the embankment is 20 kilopascals. Next, unit weight of embankment is 20 kilonewton per meter, that means it is the density. With the particular depth of the stone column is up to 6 meters, that means nearly a 20 feet we need to dig the particular matter. Friction angle is 40 degrees, cohesion 20 kPa. Friction angle of the soil is 0 degrees. Poisson ratio is 1/3 of the column diameter, 1/3, that means 0.33, and column diameter is 0.75 meters, that means 0.75 means nearly 2 feet. 2 feet means 24 inches likely, and unit weight of the soil is 16 kilonewton per meter. By using this formula, N equal to 1 plus AC by A into 1/2 plus F means friction angle, mu s AC by A, that means area of column by total area. We will obtain these formulas. This is the calculating phenomenon procedures. This is the software. That means in the software itself we are having all those formula association, while we have to simply give the quantity for that particular value. That means what is the soil depth of the stone column we have to require, what is the minimum diameter of the stone column, what is the Poisson ratio value, what is the embankment thickness value. Likely we need to give all the data to the particular software. Automatically the software will give the properties, whatever we need to construct. These things we need to know. What are the input values, how we get the output. Okay, these things I will drag this, enlarge it. This is the software for the particular design of the stone column. Likely we are having different softwares for our building designs also. and embankment designs and a small scale of structures. All we are having different small software. Some amount of softwares we need to design with our Excel sheets also. Why? Because all are correlations. Those correlations can be done by using these Excel sheets also. Okay, we have to observe what are the things are in these sheets, what we need to give and what will it gives. Okay, this is the structural phenomena. That means how we need to dig the particular column. First of all, here we are having totally 5 steps in this particular structure. Okay, in this particular 5 structures we are having 5 kinds of diagrams, 1 2 3 4 5 like that. In the first structure we are having a auger boring. Normally this auger boring is used for the driving of different foundations in the particular soils. Particular boring having different handles. Normally in a small scale of sites, people are using these auger borings for driving a particular quantity of soil. But in case of a large projects, we are using this mechanical equipments to drive the particular soils. First of all, we need to drive a cavity using augers and install the casings into the particular soils, and we need to dig up to which quantity we have to require. That means the depth. I will mark those. This is the normally depth we required. Up to particular depth, we need to use this excavation by using these augers. After that, we are having this place crushed stone in the bottom of the cavity. That means in the second diagram, we are having a stone is filling on the particular end of the particular storage. Okay, after that a ram bottom stone with below temper to produce the bulb. It is the, that means some amount of weight is applied artificially so that the stones will form as a bulb. What is a bulb?